Let's see how we can learn more about what's going on in Spanning Tree. So I'm going to focus on this switch down here. It's sort of grayed out. This one at the bottom. And let's take a look at some of the show commands that we have available to us. So here I am in that switch, and I'm going to type show Spanning Tree. And now I get some information here we need to learn how to interpret. First of all, you see that I have an entry for each VLAN that's participating. Right now it's only VLAN 1. Now I have two sections down here. The information about the root bridge and information about this particular switch. So let's take a look at the root bridge first. I can see that for the root bridge, and this is not the root bridge, by the way. How can I tell? Well, because I have a root port coming off of here. If this were the root bridge, they would be all designated ports. So the priority of the root bridge is 1. The priority here on this switch is 32769. Now wait a minute, didn't I say it could be 0 and 32768 or any multiple of 4096? So what's this about 1 and 32769? Well, you have to add in the VLAN number as well, and this tries to explain it. It doesn't do it very well. The priority 32768 plus the system ID extension, which is this VLAN 1. The extension is important in order to run per VLAN. So we can have different numbers depending on the VLAN that we're on. So this is the MAC address of the root bridge. This is the MAC address of this particular switch. And then I've got some aging information. I know that the cost to the root bridge is 57. And then down here at the bottom I have this little table, and I can see which ports are designated ports and which port is the root port on this switch. Let's actually take a look at the diagram again, and it said that FA04 is the root port. Well, that makes sense. It should be FA01, but the problem is that that one's blocked off by STP. So the root port is this FA04 because it leads to the root bridge. FA01 is a designated port, and so FA01 here, we know this side is the designated side, this side is the blocked side, but that whole segment then becomes blocked. Now we also saw that there was another designated port. Let's take a look at the table here, and I see FA09 is also a designated port. In the diagram, that leads to this PC. You may remember we put port fast on FA02, and so it does not participate. But this one does participate in STP, and if I put port fast on it, it would converge a lot faster when I plug that in. But as it turns out, I haven't done anything, so this port is also a designated port, even though it can't lead to a root bridge. There are a couple of other commands that are related. Let's take a look at show Spanning Tree again, and this time I'm going to type a question mark, and you see we have active detail, inconsistent ports, interface summary, and VLAN. If I typed VLAN, I would just get information for whatever VLAN I put in, but the ones you might be interested in are detail and summary. So let's put detail, and you'll see now I get very detailed information on each port that's participating in this, and a lot of detail there. This also, by the way, is one that tells me about the plus, that we're in PVST plus, that we're running an IEEE compatible Spanning Tree protocol. Let's look at the summary then. Show Spanning Tree summary. And in this case, I get that it's in PVST mode, and then I get a lot of information about whether BPDU guard is turned on, whether port fast is turned on, and all of that. And then down here at the bottom, I have the states that it's in, the listening, blocking, learning, forwarding states that we really haven't talked about in any detail. But if I'm curious about a particular state at a given time, this will give that information to me.